What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today comes from the Hammer and Crown Brewing Company, and they are going to be out of Niagara Falls, New York, and this is their All That Jazz. So this is a hazy IPA that comes at 6.5% alcohol by volume, 20 IBUs at the time of review. I don't know exactly how old this can is because it does not have a can on date. However, I know it's quite fresh, and that's because this one was given to me by a very good friend of mine, Andrew. So huge thanks to Andrew for this beer. Andrew has hooked me up with other Western New York beers in the past that I've reviewed on the channel, and he's come through with this one, and I'm super excited about this one. So I want to forewarn you, it's gonna be a little bit longer of a review because I kind of want to talk about Hammer and Crown, and they're gonna be opening their brewery at some point in the future here in the Western New York area, and I kind of want to talk about them as a whole. So if you want to fast forward to the review itself, 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes. Anyway, so Hammer and Crown is the brainchild of John Paul Mateer, who is the former head brewer at the Brickyard Brewing Company in Lewiston, New York. He's going to open up a spot in downtown Niagara Falls, New York. And I don't know exactly when that's going to be. Hopefully, maybe later this year, maybe early next. But it's soon because I believe this is the first official canned beer that they released. And they released this one for the Lewiston Jazz Festival, which took place in Lewiston, New York back on August, I think, 23rd and 24th. And they were serving this one. I believe people could buy 4 packs to go home, which is how Andrew got it. And I've heard a lot of good things about this one. So it's a hazy IPA. And on the back of the label here, it says featuring Amarillo, Sauvin and Citra hops, and lots of oats. Now, one discrepancy is on Untapped. Also mentions Sultana. It says Amarillo and Sultana in the whirlpool, and then double dry hop with Nelson, Citra, and Sultana. So didn't mention it on the label. I thought I would mention it because it was on Untapped. And again, heard really good things about this one. It's called All That Jazz because obviously selling it at the Jazz Festival. And I'm really excited about this one. So hopefully Hammer and Crown opens at some point in the near future. If so, I'm gonna go there. I got a new camera. I'm getting some equipment and stuff. So I'm gonna do more on location stuff down the line. So hopefully I'm able to do something at Hammer Crown when they open. We'll see. But more breweries, always a good thing, especially in downtown Niagara Falls. I don't think they've ever seen a brewery, certainly not in my lifetime. So be really cool to see. Anyway, I'm going to crack this one open and get it into the brewed and bottled glass. Shout out to Chris over at Brewed and Bottled. Him and John, really good friends. So I thought it was appropriate to use this glass. So we're going to give it a pour, and on the back says the haziest IPA. I guess we're going to see how hazy this is. Yeah, that has the milky turbidity you kind of expect from beers like this for sure. So yeah, that has a beautiful haze to it. Yeah, oh my God, that smells gnarly. So I think it's around a week old, maybe 10 days old. As I'm reviewing this one, it's a week after the Jazz Festival, which where they're selling it. So it's probably, I'd say, around 10 days old, so pretty fresh. How does that look? Pretty damn hazy. It has this dark kind of orange color. It has about almost a finger of an off-white, creamy-looking head. We'll say about a half a finger. Very murky and turbid. Hold up to light. You can't see through that. Yeah, it's a little bit darker than I would anticipate, but definitely is super hazy for sure. And Andrew gave it to me, put it right in my fridge, so hopefully everything was cool and nothing happened to it. But I wouldn't say it looks oxidized at all. It just kind of looks darker than I'm accustomed to with a lot of these, but it does have that milky kind of hop jizz, hop cum, hop splooge, whatever you want to call it. Okay, that smells fucking insane. Holy shit. Okay, time out. Hop custard, Chris. We'll go with hop custard. Always go with hop custard. This smells like authentic fruits in my glass. I've talked about this in a handful of reviews. Shout out to Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews. Very good friend of mine, fellow beer tuber. He's mentioned this before, but a lot of times when we're reviewing beers and you smell specific fruits, it's those fruits in hop form. This smells like authentic, real fruit. First thing I'm getting, passion fruit. 100% passion fruit, and then peach and mango, stone fruits. And then the Nelson's coming through with this white grape, almost white wine kind of but it's more like a juicy white grape in the nose. Some underlying citrus, like an orange pith. I don't know, maybe a fresh navel orange. Wow. I don't know why I'm so surprised because, again, I think there's 20 check-ins on Untapped, and this gets a crazy high score, like a 4.5, 4.57, 4.58 something. And, you know, it's a new place to open up, so you think you're, you know, skeptical maybe. You know, a lot of the hype breweries nowadays, when you see them starting hype, people just fucking rate it high and whatnot. The nose on this is definitely in the realm of something that I would rate a 4.5, 4.6. It smells like it has a lot of dry hopping. There isn't any astringency like that green hop matter, you know, the hop burn that you might think you'd get with this one. It's just full-on juicy, sweet fruit. And again, it smells authentic. There is this nice earthy kind of floral aroma again, but it smells like fresh hops. But then again, at the same time, fresh fruit. Oh, man, now I'm coming back. It smells like a freshly squeezed orange. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I'll just throw it out there. This might be the best nose I've had in a Western New York hazy in a long time. And when I mean Western New York, I'm not counting other half, because while they're in Western New York, they started in Brooklyn. I'm talking about like Western New York centric, started here and whatnot. This is up there. This smells top tier in terms of like, you want to start throwing out hype breweries names, sure. Nose-wise, this is fucking immaculate. Wow, there's almost a little bit of like, I'm getting a little treehouse, like slight bubblegum thing going on. Very slight though. I want to get into it. Thanks again to Andrew. Andrew. What if I just start calling you Andrew going forward? Andrew. I don't know. He probably won't watch this anyway. Cheers, everyone. It's delicious. Yes, it is. Wow. What I love about this, first sip, there's a huge dryness. And if you would go back to my channel 2 or 3 years ago, I would not say that because I used to hate dry beers. But hazy specifically, I have grown accustomed to loving the dryness because so many of them lack a bitterness, and they become too sweet. So I need that dryness or bitterness, and a lot of the hazies lack the bitterness, so the dryness makes sense. First sip, this is fucking divine. I do think the body's a little bit thin. So that's the one critique here after the first sip, a bit thin. It is 6.5%, so I'm not expecting, a higher side of medium, lower side of full. But this is like a touch under medium, approaching medium, 6.5. I'd like to see it firmly medium body a touch over. However, the mouthfeel is top tier. It's next level. Lots of oats, yes. Picture any great top tier hazy producer and their mouthfeels where it's soft, it's smooth, it's creamy, yes. This has a mild to moderate carbonation, but it has just that more of a soft nature to it, and it is very smooth and quite creamy. I'm going to stick with passion fruit as being like the predominant note for me, which is weird because it's Amarillo, Nelson, and Citra. Typically, I don't associate either of those hops with like a big blast of passion fruit. I would go back to like the Galaxies and some other New Zealand and Australian hops that aren't Nelson. Nelson's usually white grape, white wine, gooseberry, things of that nature. But I'm getting a big passion fruit. Anyway, front of the palate, a little bit of like a crackery, slightly bready malt character dives underneath the palate. Because of that, I know this is a relatively lower ABV. I'd guess 6.5 because of that. But after that, just waves of just fruity goodness. Overripened, juicy, somewhat like tart passion fruit. Navel orange, big, juicy, extremely juicy navel orange vibes. Little bit of like a lemon lime character. Midway through the palate though, that overripened peach and mango hit me, stone fruit for sure. And again, it's more of like, it's not quite like candied, like a gummy peach ring or a peach gummy ring. It's more of like an authentic real peach, but just overripened. Also, there's a bit of that juicy white grape as well because of the Nelson. Man, just a complexity of juicy, fruity goodness that while it's sweet, the first 3/4 of the palate, on the finish, it's floral, it's earthy. There is a touch of hop burn. It is quite fresh, but it's not like overbearing or anything. But it finishes bone dry with a very mild bitterness. But I love that kind of floral, earthy kind of hop matter finish where this was definitely dry hop, double dry hopped a lot. Or at least it seems like it is. I could be wrong, but pour the rest in here. Yeah, this is delicious. Like really delicious. God damn. All right, one more sip. %6.5%, you can't tell. This is a scary beer. The only thing would stop me from like sessioning this beer is because it's a hazy. And I know that some people out there are like, what the fuck, what does that mean? I don't know what that means other than I'm not somebody who just drinks a ton of hazies anymore. Like, I'm not going to buy, a bunch of 4-packs of a 6.5%, 7% hazy and just, drink them all. Usually I buy single cans. And I don't drink a lot of hazies back to back unless I'm like at a craft beer bar and having small pours, or at a beer fest or something like that, we're getting tasters. But I could see people sessioning this, at least 2 or 3 cans, maybe the entire 4-pack at 6.5%, you can't tell. And this is just fucking delicious. Holy shit. Again, I shouldn't be surprised. And as I'm sitting here, I'm getting like a nice, what is that? Like a nice honeydew melon, but then like I get the honeydew melon like if it was like fresh and ripened, but then a little bit towards the rind where it has like that slight bittering kind of component. This is really good. Like I said, when I saw it was like a 4.57 or 4.58, and I was like, wow, that's really high again. I was looking like 19 or 20 check-ins. But I see why. Like, I'll be honest with you, this might be a big praise for Hammer and Crown, considering this is like the first beer I'm having from them, the first time I believe they packaged anything, and they're not even open yet. But this is like on the level, this beer specifically is on the level of like some of the top tier hazy producers. Like if you put this in, I think like a Fiden's can or a Treehouse can or something. By the way, I'm not getting that bubblegum I was getting in the nose. Like, yeah, I think this makes sense. So let's hope that John brews more beers like this and that things like this are on tap. But I know he also likes classic styles and whatnot, so it's not just to be hazies and pastry styles and shit. He's gonna do a lot of stuff, and I'm kind of blown away by this one. So yeah, all that jazz. As you can see, I'm shocked, and I shouldn't be. Andrew was like, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, again, I can't stress enough how much passion fruit I'm getting out of this one. It's fucking, I don't know, I love it. All that jazz, Hammer and Crown. Fuck it. Join the rest of them. Be a sheep. I'm a follower. I'm going to give this a high 4.5, go 4.6. Because I think that is appropriate rating. I mean, it might come down on tap. I don't know how many other people are, going to have or check this one in. But like, this is great. This is great. I really hope, I can't wait for him to open up the brewery. Like, I really can't. This is fucking phenomenal. So, yeah, and I like the colors and the whole theme of this can too. I just absolutely love it. It's fantastic. So yeah, great job, John. You did a fantastic job with this one, no doubt. And thanks again to Andrew for this one. Really cool to be able to check it out. Price point availability. Brewery's not open. If you didn't get it at the Lewiston Jazz Festival, well then you're not going to get it, I don't think, unless anybody from Hammer and Crown, John or Chris from Brewed or anyone else happens upon this review. If there's a way to get this, post in the comment section. Let the viewers know. And then price point, I believe Andrew said this was $16 a 4-pack at the Lewiston Jazz Festival. Don't hold me to that because I was drinking a little bit when we were hanging out with Andrew. And yeah, I think that's what he said. If this was $16 4-pack at the Jazz Festival, it's kind of in line with a lot of other breweries. So $4 a can. For something this quality, I'm fine with it even at 6.5%. Like it's really good. So again, kudos to John Paul. And I can't wait for Hammer Crown to open. Like I said, I want to check them out as soon as they do. And if this is an indication of things to come, sign this guy up. So yeah, if you've had this one before, if you're in the Western New York area, you went to the Jazz Fest and you tried a can of this one out, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. Now, this is probably like the most uber local beer that I've reviewed in a long time. Brewery is not officially open yet. You had to get this at a Jazz Festival in a smaller town/village in Western New York. Don't think there's going to be a lot of people checking this one on tap or having it. But I love putting the spotlight on Western New York breweries, even if they're not open yet, because that's what Western New York Wednesday is about. That is the soul of Western New York Wednesday. And I think I'm doing the right thing here. And again, you always get the authentic, honest Joe when it comes to reviews. And if this wasn't great, I would tell you, although I do it in a nice way. I'm not an asshole when it comes to that stuff. But this is really fucking good. Like, there's no other way to explain it. I wish I had more cans of this. I wish I would have been at the Jazz Festival and bought a 4-pack for myself, because I would love to share this with other people. Be like, hey, this is what we can potentially look forward to once they open up in Niagara Falls. So yeah, I'm going to shut this one down. I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Like I said, 6.5%. You really can't tell. There's no sugar or anything. A little bit thin on the body. Honestly, the only critique real big critique I have is that this is definitely a bit thin for a 6.5% beer, but I think the mouthfeel makes up for it. Outside of that, maybe I want a little bit more bitterness, but that's a personal preference. Hazies aren't known for bitter. bitter qualities. They're usually more dry than bitter, but my own personal palate, I would love to see this like moderately bitter with more of a mild to moderate dryness, or like a semi-dry finish as a personal preference. But it does dry out enough to kind of break up the monotony of that sweet, juicy fruit you get. So I'm not complaining from that aspect. Gonna shut this one down. Check back next Wednesday. I was gonna review from Wayland their Nimbus, which is a hazy pale ale. I'll probably review that one next week. Still relatively fresh, so we should be fine. But I wanted to get to this one quite quickly. So anyway, thanks again to Andrew. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.